I'm Tim Willoughby here at GP Utrecht with Violet here. Violet's one of the judges in the German Magic community, just moved to Stuttgart. And Magic's an important game for all of us. It plays lots of roles above and beyond just being a game. And we're going to have a little bit of a conversation about what Magic's meant to you and how Magic's helped you. Because Violet, you are transgender, you born male, but you've now come out, you're female now.
That's correct.
Do you want to take us through a little bit of your role in Magic at the moment?
Sure. So like you said, I'm a level 2 judge in the Stuttgart area. I've been judging for about 4 years now. I always wanted to give something back to the game of Magic. I've loved it ever since I started playing back when Ice Age first came out. And I really wanted to give something back, and so I got into judging that way.
And you're on standby for this show, right? And
I am, yeah.
Currently stealth judge. no judge shirt right now.
Yes, it's very awkward when somebody yells judge. I want to turn around and help them, but... So as you said, I'm transgender. I was assigned male at birth, and it took me a long time to come to terms with the fact that something wasn't quite right in my life. Mm-hmm. And actually, like, even when I did find out that what was wrong, that I was female, that I'd been living the wrong gender all my life, even then I didn't really know what I could do about it. It sort of felt like I was trapped in this position because everybody who I know who's transgender sort of just seems so brave and has the audacity to show who they are to the world, and I never thought I could be able to do that. But the interesting thing is that through Magic judging, as I got more and more into the program and started judging at bigger and bigger events, I kind of discovered inside of me that I did have an inner strength and a kind of self-confidence. Sort of knowing my field, knowing the rules, knowing the policy, and being able to present myself in front of a crowd, it really helped me unlock that inner strength, and it helped me realize that maybe I could go through with this. Maybe I could be the person who I know I was.
It kind of forces a certain fierceness, doesn't it? The moment that you've got to walk up to someone and say, I'm sorry, I understand that you screwed up, but you've got a game loss, and you have to relate to people, you have to sort of come out of yourself a little bit, and I can see how that might sort of help there.
So in the Magic community we have, or in the judge community, we have conferences every once in a while, and I was invited to speak at one of these, hold a seminar, and because the topic of diversity is very important to me for obvious reasons, the subject I held the conference on was on diversity in judging, and what we as judges can do to help improve sort of the player community.
Make sure everyone feels welcome.
Exactly, make sure everyone feels welcome and safe. And I know there's this perception a lot of people have of the average Magic player that's just not true. And
absolutely.
Because some people don't see that, I think it's important to be visible about it. And because I also felt it was important to sort of underscore the message of my seminar, I felt it was time to finally show Violet to the whole world. Mm-hmm. And so I went to the seminar as Violet. I held the presentation as me, and I was worried how I'd be received, but everybody in the community was very supportive, very understanding, very welcoming. And that was a big eye-opener for me. So in a sense, I came out to Magic judges before the rest of the world.
Yeah, I mean, it was just sort of a few family and friends before that.
Exactly,
that was the sort of the big coming out, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. And so if it hadn't been for that, I don't know. I may still be living as my old self. I may have never found that opportunity, that inner strength.
Now, I know that for a lot of players, this may be something that's quite unfamiliar. I think that there's probably a few bits and pieces that are useful for people to know, just so that everyone can have a good time at tournaments, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess for me, the first thing, I suppose, is around pronouns. Sometimes it's not necessarily clear to people. If you're not sure, if you're playing a transgender player, sort of perhaps, should you use he, should you use she? Is there kind of a line that is a safe starting point?
Well, I'd say generally if somebody sitting across from you is presenting a certain way, like they look female or they look male, you're usually okay with using the pronouns you think are correct. But sometimes they may correct you. Not all transgender people present as female or male if they're trans men. Either because they live in a place where they don't feel safe with it, or they just don't feel comfortable enough with their appearance to do so. So if somebody corrects you, or if you're ever not quite sure, it's important to make sure you go with what they say. And it's usually okay to ask if you're not sure, as long as you do it in a polite and respectful manner.
I mean, I guess that being polite and being respectful is kind of the key to all of this. And this has nothing really to do with gender issues. It's more just a general thing of, if you're polite and respectful of your opponent, regardless of who you're playing, then you're going to have a good game, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, how's it been for you since coming out, both in a judging perspective and sort of more personally?
It's been a surprisingly positive experience. I haven't had much negativity in my life after I came out and started transitioning, and I certainly haven't had any in the Magic community, which has been great. So I actually started judging as Violet before I was out to the rest of the world too.
Okay.
So that was my first sort of exposure to the world, was in a Magic tournament sense. And again, I was really nervous the first time, but everything turned out okay, and everybody seemed totally understanding and supportive. So,
I mean, something that we've seen as sort of a thread throughout the weekend, I suppose, is that Magic is a great place to just be yourself, and we all have this common thing that we share. We all understand this game that we love, and I think that it has been really useful for a lot of people in terms of coming out of their shell, sort of building bridges, breaking down barriers, and it's great to see that it's helped for you too.
It's been a great help. And I also have to give a shout out to a good friend of mine, Erin Campbell, who does a podcast, The Girlfriend Bracket. She's also transgender. She played in the recent Magic Cup, and she has also been a big support for me on my journey. As somebody who's very prominent in the Magic community and is also transgender, she was also a big influence for me to finally come out.
All steps in the right direction, and you're playing in the main event here at Utrecht.
I am, yes.
Currently on standby, so I guess hoping to either open a great pool and not get called up, or a terrible pool and suddenly find out there's lots of side events going on. But one way or another, I hope you have a great GP Utrecht.
I'm really glad to be a part of this whole Magic event. It was really important to me that I make it out here, and I'm glad I was able to, even if I'm not judging. It should be a great event.
Thanks, Violet.
Thank you.